I'm going to fire off an invite to Bobby, and then we will get this one going. This over here. Sorry about this. Okay. Again, it's an interesting. Thursdays are usually a little bit interesting because we have two slates, and it's kind of hard for me to do live. So I'm gonna do my best here, and hopefully Bobby will come and lead us to victory, so to speak. Hey, what's going on, Bobby?
Hey, what's going on, man?
So we'll take care of what we need to take care of before you go do your stuff. We're live now. We'll talk about. I mean, I just figured we talk about the early slate, then we'll talk about the main slate in baseball. Go over NBA. We'll do it all. You know, unless you want to do a separate recording for the NBA.
No, that all sounds good to me. Also, you know, it's kind of a weird travel day for me because I'm heading out of here and I've got to go to the doctor in a little bit, so that works out perfectly.
I did kind of nicely yesterday, by the way, Bobby. In basketball, I got third in one of the single entries.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, then I cashed in the Monster on FanDuel, and then on DraftKings, I made money, and most all the NBA stuff I went in. You know, just look. I mean, look at the final scores. Those are like sheet scores. You know, it's like didn't really need all that much. And even with couple of injury, couple of whatevers. I ended up like just with a lot of Rudy Gobert, and man, did he freaking go off. He was I did it with no Morant too. Speaking of people who went off, so I was happy about that. Baseball didn't go so well. And I don't know if you saw it, but I think the last hockey slate of like multiple games, I got like fifth in the big one over there for like 1,000. Man. Yeah, I'm psyched for that. So I'm sharing
real quickly about NBA. Just what was funny last night. I didn't have Gobert, Conley, Morant, but I cashed in everything.
Wow.
I sent you the one earlier saying
that held on longer than I thought it was going to.
It held on until the end of the third quarter of the other game. If the game really got out of hand, maybe in the third early, like it got to like 35 or something or 30 points, maybe I would have had a chance, but it would have been really, really reaching. But anyway,
we got a couple of threes out of Royce O'Neal that were unexpected. I mean, I was happy with basketball yesterday. I'm looking forward to the 3-gamer tonight.
These are the good ones, Sheets. I'm telling you right now, the NBA and the postseason is really there's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of like ways you can try and pivot and adjust, and even with the small slates, you can usually get different enough with just a couple little tweaks, and you're good to go. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, Ja was like 5% owned. I wish I was smart enough to play him.
I mean, it's crazy. It's funny. We talked about it on the show yesterday. I was like, there's no logical reason why he's good against this team, but he's just had his biggest monster games against this team. But that's right. How Utah. I mean, we see it with all the best guards. It's the craziest thing. All right.
Are you playing the early slate?
No, there's not really any tournaments like that. I mean, there's just
you missed them. Then they sold out. Yeah, there's like a 300. There's like but then again, the early. I mean, again, let's see what you're looking for. I mean, it pays like 10K for first. It's not like your typical.
No, but I would have been happy to play that. I just don't have. I just didn't have it. I didn't want to, play the $300 10-person tournament. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. You had to have really gotten in by like 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
To have gotten in there, but I'll just kind of if anybody's even listening. I mean, I'll go over. It's a pretty standard type of slate. You got Shane Bieber who's underpriced, and on a slate with no pitching, he's gonna be 100% owned, I guess. I'm playing him. I mean, it's just way too many raw points to not take. The SP2 for me was it looked very uninteresting. I mean, I had a nice easy one, but
Wait, you said Shane Bieber? In the early slate?
Yep.
What are you? Maybe on Fan? Is it different on FanDuel or something?
DraftKings.
Am I missing something here? I don't have that. Maybe I'm on a different. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe I clicked on a weird slate and that's why there's nothing. Let's see. Wow, why does my projections don't have that? That's interesting. Okay. Sorry. Keep going. Yeah, there's a lot more games included that are not being. Okay, I see what happened. I have my.
I thought he might. You scared me. I thought he might be scratched. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell's going on
I
here?
just couldn't figure out what was happening. I don't understand why. Well, the main site I use doesn't have that game or those. They only have 4 games in the early slate. Okay. I don't understand it. Maybe here, you know what? Let me try something else. Okay, sorry about that, Cheese. Wow, I was looking at the wrong thing. That's it. Really interesting. But that's what happens when you're not going to play a slate. Although I agree. I mean, look, if you're saying that.
Okay, so wait. So pretend that well, this is actually very, very, very productive. So pretending that Bieber is not on the slate, because I was just about to say I'm having trouble with my SP2. So who would your pitchers be with no Bieber?
It's a good question.
So I'll just start. So I have Kyle Hendricks. I have Kyle Hendricks as the next one, and I have him over guys like Matthew Boyd, who certainly seems to make a lot of sense. But I just have Hendricks is better. And then there's Spencer Howard, Tyler Anderson. It's a lot of really, really bad options. You have Pablo Lopez, but he's 9,400. So for me, it's weird. Like I'm playing Bieber and Hendricks in like my big one, but like on the ones that I'm having Sabersim help me build, I'm getting like no Hendricks.
Why aren't you getting Herman Marquez or Marquis?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that it's part of that. Now that's where you're getting into the weird part of the slate because I don't. Oh, so he is going in there. Okay, so I probably do need to consider that then, because before it wasn't really listing him; it was doing something else. So yeah, I got to make sure to get Marquis because he's definitely. So right now I have Marquis just over Hendricks, actually significantly over Hendricks. So it would be Bieber and Marquez. All right, I think we're up to speed now.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Bieber Marquez are definitely the chalk, the cash game plays, and I agree with you that Hendricks, Boyd. I actually think Tyler Anderson I can make a case for here if you want to get large field, but I don't think you have to do any of it. But Marquez and even you could just pay up for both and play Stroman. You get some decent safety there for Stroman and Bieber. It's just a little more than you want to play for Stroman, but maybe you can do it on this slate if you want to.
Okay.
That's the only other one I would. I mean, they're all in play, but I definitely think I would look to potentially get a little different and pay up for both of them. I won't be so different, but it's a small slate. But I think I do think it maximizes. The only problem is Marquis has probably a higher upside than Stroman does, and he's 6,800. But
that's true.
Even the median is pretty. I mean, it is hard with the Marquis thing, but the Mets lineup is so terrible. But so is Colorado's. So I like Stroman and Marquis. I think would be my next two. Now that I look at it again,
Aguilar is not playing in the. Aguilar is not playing for Miami. We have that lineup. Hang on a minute.
Why is that game such a low total? I guess it's just because the hitters are bad, but this Miami lineup is pretty gross.
Yeah.
But
I like them.
yeah. I mean, this is sometimes gross is great. It's wow. What are they doing? I'm sort of surprised at the run total, to be honest with you. I really would think that against a Spencer Howard that they would have a little bit of a more than a 3.5 run total or 3.7 run total. Anyway, I don't understand that exactly. But who are the other stacks you're looking at?
Hang on, I just have to fix my
Yeah.
I just have to fix something. Hold on, just one second.
So I'll also throw out the ones I want. San Diego. I think that there's an argument for. I think Cleveland is a really good idea to take a shot with them against Boyd. I think that they're going to have you owned, but Boyd we know is can be good, but also is absolutely explosive and the kind of guy you want to stack on against on big slates usually. This year, to his credit, he's kept the home run balls down along with the strikeouts. He's giving up a lot of hits, but nothing that not a ton of extra base hits. Cleveland, was disappointing to a lot of us yesterday, and I would be ready to be disappointed by them again, but I think I would still take that shot. And there's not a whole lot to choose from here. I think you want to pick and choose hitters, honestly, more than you do want stacks today. But if there was a stack, I would tend to agree that somewhere between Philly and the Marlins game, I probably would have, and then San Diego and Cleveland.
Let me just fix this, and then I'll be back with you. And this is one of the reasons why live is really, really tough for me during the day. I just get so much other stuff.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't put it all together.
No, this is no good. Oh, crap. Okay.
I'm gonna tell a funny little story while you're doing this.
Yeah.
I'm going away this weekend with my girlfriend, and we're going to Santa Barbara, which we wanted to rent a place. So every Airbnb sold out in like a week ago. I looked, and then the next day everything was gone except for like 4 horrible places. Then I looked at hotels, and these hotels that I've stayed at before for like $100 a night are like $650 a night. California has gone nuts. You can't go anywhere that's going to be like a place people would want to go and be social is 1,000 times more booked than it's ever been. Every restaurant on my street, we live in the Arts District, okay?
Okay.
Every restaurant on my street, these great restaurants that some of them are very trendy, some of them not as trendy, more locally. You have to wait a month on a reservation thing to get into any of them. So what we do is we just go and put our name on the wait list, and then if somebody cancels, we're just down the street. But that's how far out we're talking. I mean, people in California are ready to live. I'll tell you that right now. It's wild, man. And one of the Airbnbs that I had looked at, I had rented before for $150 a night, $750 a night. It was like, whoa, like it's just everybody's traveling. Everybody's a long weekend, obviously, but like it's just wild. It's just crazy how much is going on. And I had to spend a lot more than I felt comfortable with on a 2-day weekend. I was like, wow, I really can't believe I'm spending for this place. But it's worth the experience, I guess.
Odd flex, not even an odd flex. It was weird. I actually when I was in Lehigh for graduation this past week, we took out Ashley's girlfriend, boyfriend, and his sister, and his sister actually works for Airbnb. And she was telling me it's a freaking mob scene.
Oh man, what a thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm also trying to update my plays for later today. So we'll do the.
Everybody's getting scratched. I'm sorry, everybody's getting scratched here. I have something else going on, so I just have to do this.
Who's getting scratched?
No, I mean I just had these other guys listed as playing, and they're just not.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the Thursday. You never know.
Yeah, so like Segura, I thought was playing. He's not. Why do I even have him in at all? Yeah, I was originally going to have Cleveland as my main stack everywhere.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just I just don't know that you need to like stack. I think we could try like.
Well, then you would have been proud of me. What I was going to say is that most of my builds were like 2-2-3s and like all kinds of like Bobby stuff. Yeah.
I like it. That's what I would be doing.
Now, let me just see. Oh my God, he's still out. Still not in my lineup. So I got Luplow. He's out. So let's get rid of him. So why do I see him in the lineup still?
I have him as out too.
No, but why? Here. Oh, I know. Okay. So Luplow would be here. I will swap him out, and then we could actually start talking about the slate. I feel like it's like ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, this is casual. Guys, just to keep you all like look, everything is going to be much more fine tuned, and we'll get things. You know, we're still figuring out some stuff, and some of these live shows for the early slates are going to be a little bit scatterbrained because they always are. And by the way, every show, every company I've ever worked for, they always are. But just wanted to let you guys know that. And Sheets, I believe you updated your stuff on the site, and I am going to update mine as we go along. So you've updated, right, Sheets?
What? Oh, my stuff for today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it earlier today.
Okay, so all Sheets' projections are up. You guys check them out. Let us know what you think. We really want to hear from you guys on this stuff, but I think that you're going to be pretty excited once we get down with how to use everything. I'll keep doing my plays, but I'll be doing it I'll be doing a lot more in-depth stuff as well. And just keep an eye out for that stuff. And in the meantime, Sheets, whenever you're ready to talk about the early slate, we'll do that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. It's I'll just keep filling the air then. So I did well. Actually, I did well on NBA last night. I had mentioned, but on DraftKings, but not on FanDuel. And I just totally. I mean, it's hard with playoffs to really predict blowouts and have it go your way. And I was pretty right. I thought the two of the games were going to be blowouts, but I didn't expect Memphis to hang in there in the second half, even to where the game was at least keeping all the starters on the court. I really thought it could be like a 35-point game going into the fourth quarter. And that was where I missed on my basketball last night. Baseball missed a lot of different ways. Had all the wrong parts of all the right places, and had the nothing parts of the wrong places. So of the right places. I just didn't hit on the lineups. I had some nice pitching combinations. It just didn't quite work out for me. But so be it. And today's slate is going to be I think that, you know what, I do want to say actually one thing. I think I may have made a mistake. I think I may have over pivoted off of some of the riskier games because I like the other stacks very closely. But had I not done that, I think I would have been in better shape. So that was a mistake on my part, and I wish I wouldn't have done it.
What, in the baseball?
Yeah. I think the pivoting off of what I was originally doing, because my original lineups that I left in were the only ones that actually cashed. So not that they weren't making any money. I wasn't going to make money yesterday, probably no matter what. But it would have been nice to at least get a little bit of it back. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, it's like everybody on Milwaukee that I thought was playing is not playing. Like the whole lineup. I mean, what is going on? They all get Thursday off? Is that the story?
That's what happens. In the long baseball season, it happens pretty usually on a Thursday, but usually you could tell who it's. We probably are a little ways away from that. I also noticed more guys getting hurt during baseball games this year, which is like, that's not the sport we're supposed to worry about you getting hurt during. Maybe once in a while, but I mean, I saw one game the other day that had 3 guys injured in the game. I was like, I don't remember that happening from like base running. Like football all of a sudden. Guys, if you are in chat, I know there's not very many of you out there, but come and say what's up. Ask any questions about the early slate. Sheets has got obviously a lot to go through. We can see it on his FanDuel page, but I'm happy to talk with you, answer any questions in the meantime. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking about some other plays that I like from the early slate. Well, actually, I already mentioned most of the early slate ones. Cleveland makes.
Well, who do you like in pitching? I mean, like now that you know that Bieber's pitching, would you call anybody else?
It's Bieber. I mean, Bieber and Marquis is hard to get away from for me. But I think the pivot to either Hendricks or, because Cleveland will be owned, playing Matt Boyd, actually probably this is a spot where you could get leverage. And then you've got I think you can pay all the way up for Stroman really easily because you've got guys like Owen Miller you might want in your lineup who are 2K, and there's other cheap bats out there because everybody's not playing, as you mentioned.
Let me just fix this, and then I hopefully I'm ready to go. Nuts. Put this over here. Oh my God. We'll just wing it, I guess.
All right, no, you can keep going. I'll keep talking.
Okay.
I'll talk about some other stuff about some, okay. So for the later slate, this just some weird random thoughts. And again, I know we're sort of jumping around slates, but because the first slate I always talk sheets about, but it is so interesting to me that the Yankees, and this feels actually like more appropriate based on how they've been hitting, but a 3.6 run total against Robbie Ray, who the last time they faced, I believe, was it? Yeah, it was them. I believe their run total was near 6. Projected run total was near 6, like 5.9 or something. It was opening day or first game that Ray pitched. And by the way, it's not like they didn't, he didn't do well against them, but they didn't score a bunch of runs either. 5 innings, but he only had 3 Ks. I think it's really strange to see the Yankees with this kind of a run projection. So I think that they're like completely in play, and Robbie Ray's exploitable. I think that the Yankees like just jumped out at me. At the same time, Robbie Ray can be good and is probably a viable pitching option, but I do think that the Yankees are like. I just think it's kind of interesting. The run total is so low. It's not like a bad hitting environment. It's obviously Yankee Stadium. Glaber and Judge would be my favorites. And followed by probably Sanchez. Those would probably be my 3 favorites, but I just think the whole stack makes some sense. Even if you want to get Clint Frazier in for real cheap, or I'm not as thrilled about Andujar, but Higashioka. They really priced him down. I mean, I know Robbie Ray has been good lately, and this is what we see from him all the time. He can be just absolutely awesome and then just do nothing. But, boy, he's been really great this year. But this is a Yankee lineup that we shouldn't be afraid to play against left-handed pitching, especially guys who are wild and give up tons of home runs. So,
okay. All right, let me go through what I have in early. All right, so in early slates like right now, so Bieber and Marquis on DraftKings look to be clearly the 2 guys. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that. I do like Hendricks somewhat, and he would be my clear pivot off of Marquis. Now again, Hendricks is not, certainly doesn't have the ceiling. And as a matter of fact, I actually had some delusions of stacking against Hendricks a little bit also. So I have to figure that out still in the last couple of minutes here. But I definitely think that Marquis and Bieber if you're playing catch, I think that's the way that you want to go. Mm-hmm. And what I had, again, as I was mentioning with DraftKings, this is before these scratches though. Like I really liked Cleveland, but like you said, I mean, if they're going to be owned, I was kind of under the delusion that like Matt Boyd was going to be chalk somehow.
Who's anybody going to play from a hitting standpoint? They have the highest run total.
Right.
I think they have the highest run total. Anytime you have the highest run total, you're always going to, especially on these kind of sets, you're going to be the most owned.
And the next guys under that, as far as hittings goes, I had Milwaukee and actually in Pittsburgh, if you want to know the truth. Mm-hmm. So I like your San Diego thing, and this is actually something I was going to talk about So one of the things I'm doing for the site is I'm going to be making a video on how to use projections, how to use my sheets and whatever it is. And I was thinking about it a little bit this morning. And one thing that I'm going to be stressing on there, which kind of makes a little sense in terms of what I'm discussing here, is, how you rank players or stacks or hitting or whatever depends on what you need them for. In other words, like I will rank stacks by pure point per dollar, right? I'll rank them just on pure raw points, and I'll rank them on kind of like what I have kind of a mixture of like raw points and value. And depending on, and people say, oh, what column do I look at? How do I rank these guys? It depends. Like if I were going to, like if you like rank stacks and hitting by like point per dollar, what you're going to end up getting is like the cheapest stack that has a shot.
but really not all that much upside, right? That's as most cheap point per dollar plays in draft, and DFS turn out to be. And then likewise, if you rank by raw points, you're going to get probably the most likely to score the most raw points, but maybe, we're too expensive. But depending on your pitchers, that's where you go. So like if you really like to spend up pitchers, then you're going to probably pay more attention to the kind of like those value columns. If you have like two kind of like value-ish type pitchers where you can afford to pay up, then you're probably going to want to rank guys seriously just by like upside and and raw points. And then if you have kind of like middle of the road pitchers, then you might want to look at kind of like a middling way to rank them, like kind of like modified value. And then like I thought about also like, so if you're going to play FanDuel, by its nature, usually FanDuel, you don't have to worry about quote unquote value all that much. So unless you're even playing like a 12K pitcher, like Bieber might be an exception. He's like really expensive, but if you're playing anybody except for Bieber, for example, you don't even have to rank guys by point per dollar or anything like that. You know what I mean? You could probably just look to the left and say, okay, which stack rates to score the most points, so to speak, and just apply it that way.
But I think that's really wrong for these kind of slates. I just do personally. Like I don't think you should be just trying to find a way to stack a team. This is a really unusual slate with no totals that make any sense to stack any team except for Cleveland.
Well, I shouldn't have said stack. What I should have meant is just ranking players in general.
Sure.
Like not even a stack. Like let's say that I was going to say, okay, who's a better play, Yelich or the guy from Cleveland? Who's the cheap guy? Owen Miller. Like, who's a better play, Christian Yelich or Owen Miller in the utility on FanDuel? Like for example, if you were down to those two. Well, I mean, it depends on what what type of build you had. You know what I mean? Like if you were
I misheard you. Who was the other one you said other than Miller?
I was going to just say some cheapo value guy like Owen Miller or something like that.
But I don't think he's. So I think that those guys we have to put in a different tiers. Okay. There's the cheapo value guys who don't ever do anything, like Donovan Solano for the Giants, for example. And then you've got top prospects who are coming up. And even though I know it's against the lefty, so he's getting moved up in the order, they're trying to get him some reps, and their lineup isn't that strong in general. So Owen Miller is a guy who I want to take shots on in general. I would actually consider him like an elite play. Like if he was 3,500, I would probably be playing him today or considering him.
That's interesting.
He's not it's same thing with Taylor Larnage from Minnesota. Like there's a lot of these young guys coming up that we just have to stay on top of because there is some talent there. And we do have some people in chat, by the way.
Nice.
Guys, Bobby Smith. Hey, another Bobby. All right, Bobby. Welcome over here.
I would like to say, by the way, that with Narvaez out, Shaw out, Yelich out, like all these guys out, like whoever's pitching against them for San Diego, this Weathers is probably a good play.
Yeah, that even with those guys in, that's the attitude I've been taking every day. You take you guys against Milwaukee. I'm just going to say hi to the guys in chat. Mark, appreciate the kind words. Glad you appreciate the content. Ruben Rodriguez wants to know about using a Detroit stack against Bieber. So what I would say is if you're going to do the Detroit stack, if you're going to stack even like a Pittsburgh, you're not getting a ton of power upside out of these teams, and it's a tough matchup, obviously. I think you want to look at like 2 or 3 men if you're going to do it at all. That's the way I would look at – you mentioned before about stacking against Hendricks. I would look for 2 or 3 guys maybe, or 2 or 3 guys against Bieber. That's where I am. We've got Michael Atkerson who says he loves us. So that's great. It's it's always nice to get some positive stuff. I think Bobby Smith was a little bit maybe a little trolling us. I don't know. Trying to look a little consistent. We get getting this thing sheets where people say we're inconsistent. We do video every week that there's been a day. We've done videos, and it hasn't missed one for a long time. So,
hey, it's good to be inconsistent. You keep people guessing.
Yeah. Well, this guy hates us. So, all right, man. Appreciate that you hate us, Bobby. Go ahead. Hate us all you want. All right.
We won't be able to hate us in this thing for long, though, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, dude, we've given out a lot of winners lately, and we've, I don't understand.
That's not what I meant. They're just gonna start getting banned. That's all.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, it's fine.
Not only that, but I mean, we're gonna start when we make this premium only, like But you know what? Even if someone pays for the site, if they're gonna start trolling, they're gonna kick that anyway. I'll send their money back, honestly.
Yeah. And just a reminder to anyone who does play NASCAR out there, go ahead and we've got Pierce. We got one of the best here with us, and we would love for you guys to check out his stuff. I know his is behind a paywall already because he's got already customers that are paying for this premium content. He does a hell of a job, and he's going to be dropping in with us on some other stuff. So Pierce, really excited to have Pierce Dietrich on the team, and it's we're lucky to have him. All right. It looks like I'm updated with my projections for that. Okay. So tell me when you want to talk about the later slate and we can jump on into it.
Yeah, let me just fix.
Keep doing your thing. In the meantime, I'll just keep talking. I'll talk about some later slate stuff because I didn't get in early enough for the big first slate. I'm on this Yankees thing. Yankees, Dodgers, White Sox, but that game has some serious weather concerns, and the White Sox will probably be the major chalk if the weather's all right. But I like the Dodgers, Yankees. Yeah, we just saw this matchup with Alex Wood against his former team, our Dodgers, and he actually pitched pretty well. But I again, there's not a ton of stacks to choose from. The Dodgers, obviously, it's a bigger upgrade coming back to Dodger Stadium instead of playing in San Francisco, which they did last time he pitched. But the one weird one, Sheets, that I kind of wanted, well, I guess maybe I'm jumping ahead to ask you this because you're in the middle of your other stuff.
Go ahead.
I also do like Arizona, both sides of Arizona and St. Louis, but more individual bats. I kind of am. I think Ohtani makes a lot of sense to pitch later on, but if you're not, I think that stacking the A's is a really good way to go. We've seen Ohtani go both ways, just be dazzling, and then we'll see him just get blown up. And if he gets like wild early and like throws 30 pitches in the first inning, you might see a really short outing out of him. So you could just be dealing with some bullpen stuff. And also he's hittable. So I do kind of like the A's as another stack, but I'm more just blown away by this Yankee stuff. And if this is really the run total, I'm more than happy. Oh, wait. Oh, this is why. Oh, I totally missed this. This is a doubleheader. God, this is, you know what? I had it twice in the same spot. Never mind the Yankees. Excuse me. Take all that stuff away. God, kind of a gross slate, actually, now that I look at it.
Well, let's start with this. So the pitching in the main slate is a complete catastrophe, as far as I'm concerned. My first idea was to actually just pay down for flexing for Seattle. If the hitting was going to be something I could make use of, and I think that I can. Like my best stack that I wanted to kind of play was going to be the White Sox. So my initial idea was going to be to play Flexen and Cease, and then stack the White Sox. I wouldn't mind playing Alex Wood as well. So there's Wood, Bassett, and again, like the pitching is really, really brutal. So my initial thing was Flexen and then probably pay up for Cease. But it's going to be it's a crappy pitching slate, no?
So it is. Well, it's weird because I think that actually there's a lot of guys who are fine. Like if the weather's okay, I think Cease is totally fine. Sonny Gray, I think, is a great play. I don't have any problem with him. Ohtani, I think, is a really good, upside play. I don't even know what upside. He's at 7,700. It's pretty easy for him to get there. As much as I like the Dodgers, Alex Wood is 6,900, and that's wrong. Just right there. So there's a lot of guys who I think are sort of in consideration that I would, be looking at. But I think Gray, Strasburg. I think Strasburg is pretty obvious, right? Like
I didn't even get projections yet on those two. Again, these are early looks for me. I'm not even.
Yeah. Gray and Strasburg, I think, are the best plays. Chris Bassett against watered down Angels lineup, although they seem to score more runs these days. Again, and I think those are pretty much the guys you're looking at. And I actually think that they're all pretty solid, but I would lean Gray, Strasburg, Otani, and Cease as just my core four, and then maybe you'd mix in a Bassett if you want to. I didn't look at Flexen, even though it's against Texas. I think so. Of course, at 6.2, totally fine. Do you need it? I don't think so. So I mean, it's a weird game to stack because it's like a bunch of mediocre pitchers, right? Like you got Carlos Martinez, who you can't really play for DFS because he doesn't strike anybody out anymore. But at the same time, he's been good enough to limit enough damage. You know what I mean? That's sort of how this slate, looks weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would play him.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing him. I'm talking about stacking though, because when you get into the stack side of it, it's not like any of these pitchers you go, okay, I want to like have. That's why I brought up Otani with Oakland, and I actually think other people will do that. I brought up. I think this is much more of a 4 or a 3-3-2. I mean, these smaller slates are generally not generally, but often like that. But if the White Sox game does have real weather damage, which it certainly looks like it does, I'm going to take a look and see if I can get an updated thing on that, even though it's a ways away. Because if that game plays, not only is that clearly the best game, it's also clearly the chalk by so much, and it's not even close. So you have to just try and figure out how you're going to navigate that. And there's not like an immediate pivot stack that makes nearly as much sense as the White Sox do. But if the White Sox do play, I think a 5-man White Sox stack is absolutely not only viable, but like it's like going to be hard to get away from. Okay, let me get my weather update here. And guys, yeah, drop in any questions or thoughts along the way.
The other team that I identified, well, there are two teams identified kind of right away, and one of them was the Cardinals. Did you like them at all?
The Cardinals, yeah, that's the Cardinal that both sides of that game I think are the next pivot spots. Okay. They're probably the best ones. That's just from a run. I mean, even from a run projection total, that seems to make the most sense. I assume that the roof will be open again, although it's getting hotter now. I'm curious if they keep opening it in Arizona, but I'm going to guess it's been open mostly. So we can take a look at that later. But for right now, yeah. And the other need to fully stack.
And the other team I was looking at was Texas.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think Adolis, the best kept secret in the major leagues right now is Adolis Garcia. I don't know what is going on with this guy and why he's pricing. He would be my top play on the slate.
Oh, really?
This guy has 16 home runs. He's Randy Rosarena this season's Randy Rosarena. Listen to his. I mean, he's homered and he's hit 5 home runs in the last 5 games. He's just like a monster, and no one plays him ever. I'm sure they will tonight a little bit, but like I caught onto this one a little bit late, but I'm glad I got the last part of it because I've been playing him every day this week. But Adolis Garcia, Joey Gallo, I like Texas too. And oddly, a ballpark upgrade for Texas going to Seattle. Not many teams can say that.
That is true. Let me see something. There's the White Sox. And then what did you think of the next one I was interested in was Arizona? Did you look at that at all?
Arizona. Yeah, so Arizona, the problem is it would be, I think Peralta, Escobar, Marte would be my standouts. But yeah, they make sense for sure. Especially if we lose the White Sox. But I'm just trying to get the weather update, and I don't know why I don't.
Yeah, how bad is it?
It looks. I'll give a little shout out to Roth. He's got it as yellow orange. They're probably going to play as of right now. They're saying, but just looking at how much rain there is, it could go either way. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's going to make it hard for me to play. I'm on the road today, and I don't like playing on the road when I've got weather stuff to worry about and things like that. Trying to worry about even one lineup. So probably
not to mention, and now has DraftKings worked out? At least they're uploading stuff with you.
It's a process, man. It's I got all but one payout of the recent stuff, so I feel good about that. And then just the editing pages and stuff, I just go back and forth to the development team. It feels like every day. By the way, Bobby Smith says, I guess I misunderstood him before. He said, you guys, I know you two are actually good at DFS and not just good at talking in circles like most of these touts, if you know what I mean. I understand that. I appreciate that that you think that, and sorry if I misunderstood before. I think that it was, it was my bad. Michael Ackerson says the NBA picks were on fire. The way we get creative on it, it's great the way we get creative on 3-game slates. Really appreciate that, man. That is something that we will talk about, hopefully briefly right after we're done with baseball.
I don't know what issues I'm having with Sonny Gray's projections, but I will get those.
Well, I can tell you right now, he's going to project as the best pitcher on the slate other than Strasburg, and I probably the second highest owned to Strasburg. That's my
for whatever reason, Strasburg is kind of eluding me too. That game is definitely on, right?
Oh, I don't see anything.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I don't see anything with it. The reason why, like with Strasburg, is that he only threw 72 pitches his first start back, but he's 8,500. First of all, that's good enough. 75 pitches is probably good enough on the slate, and but it's probably going to be more like 85 to 95 today, and it could actually extend beyond that potentially, depending on how things go. So,
yeah, we liked him last time.
Yeah, and he actually was fine. And the weird part is he did throw less pitches. They said he was going to have no restrictions, and he obviously had some restrictions.
Yeah, I'm updating this stuff, and I'm getting Strasburg, but I'm still Gray is coming in a little light. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. And I am going to update all the all my stuff as soon as actually we finish this, because I'm going to be really busy. So I am going to do one more push of the later game stuff. So let me just see. Cardinals, Texas, White Sox. Let me see on FanDuel. Yeah, it's weird, these pictures. Pretty strange. See something. Yeah,
I have some individual bats that I've listed from today for tonight's slate. Abreu, Vaughn would be the standouts. They're chalk. Glaber, I like it because it's even though it's a 7-inning game, batting at the top of the lineup. I don't think he'll get played as much, and I just think that I want to try and take a shot even in a 7-inning game against. Just no one's going to do it in a weird small slate. I usually say no to this, but today I might be saying yes, especially if there's no White Sox game.
Hey, you know what I noticed? The reason why I was having issue with Strasburg is that game's not on the FanDuel slate.
There you go. Maybe that makes a lot of sense.
The gray Strasburg is not on the FanDuel slate.
That makes a lot of sense. But I have other guys like Peralta, Goldschmidt, Reddick, Matt Olson, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Adolis Garcia, Joey Gallo, Nate Lowe are the guys who stood out to me after my first runs today. And my stacks being the Dodgers, White Sox, Texas, Arizona, and St. Louis.
Just one more thing with Gray. Yeah, if put a gun to my head right now, by the way, I wouldn't be playing Gray. That's where I'd be. I'd be at Strasburg and something gross after that. But we'll see how that goes.
Gray definitely has the most upside, but maybe you don't need all the upside. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there's another person you're worried about. And if the game plays, Dylan Cease you could argue that he has a similar high upside. He can just be really, really good at times, although mostly he's just sort of like a meh GPP guy.
Yeah. All right. So do you want to do the NBA, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do the NBA. I'm ready to do it.
Give me one sec. I hope people know or should we record it?
Well, we're recording. This is going to go up on our thing.
Okay, right.
We'll just tell them which part. I have the mark set down so I can write that in.
Right. Update, continue. All right, 1 second. Just gonna save one more thing. You want to start talking about the NBA a little bit?
Yeah. So the issue I'm having, like a lot of the guys I want to play for, like Jimmy Butler is going to stand out as being a great play. I've been playing him, and I want to keep playing him and all that stuff. And he's not going to shoot the ball like this forever. I have noticed the way they've defended him in Milwaukee is makes it really tough. He tends to keep like dribbling himself into like basically the high post, and then sort of ends up with picking his dribble up and trying to figure out what to do from there. It's happening like every play, and I think maybe the better play is to. I do like Butler, but maybe this game play more Bam. I think Bam's gonna be popular too, I guess. But I really like both of those guys, and I think Dragic at 5,100. All three of those guys stand out, but Butler is the guy who I would say initially I would be locking in here, but makes me a little bit nervous today.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my lead-in. Was that I thought that. I thought that Butler was like a clear standout. You think that's kind of a trap, or?
No, he's the number one play. He's going to be like 75, maybe 85% on him.
Oh, you think? Okay.
Maybe not really, but he's the first guy who everyone will look at and say that's the easiest play to make, especially because the projections love him so much. I was just noticing from watching the games how Milwaukee was defending him, and yeah, he in the overtime he put up 47. He was 4 for 22, so you'd go, bounce back. But then they got smoked in the next game, and it just seemed to cause him some problems. They're pretty good at adjusting, and Jimmy Butler's going to be heavily involved. So he's a good safe play. I was just thinking, at mega chalk, if you wanted to try and maybe play just Bam and Dragic instead of him, things could work out that way. But I think
what do you think? What do you think of Kendrick Nunn tonight?
Nothing.
Okay.
Maybe I should. Am I missing something?
No, I don't know. He got the start yesterday in the last game. I don't know. 4,200. I'm just looking for
he's a filler until Hero and Dragic come in.
Okay.
That's the way I see it anyway. And he got more minutes than usual last game because they were down by 700 points. But I think he'll play 20 minutes. I mean, he's fine. He's 4,300, so you can't really. That's not too bad. But I would just so much rather play Dragic. You need Nunn just to get red hot and them to be down and like a certain path for it to happen. And I just don't think when they run their offense is Jimmy Butler number 1, Bam number 2, Dragic number 3, sometimes number 2. And then, I mean, just down the stretch and in tight games, and that's what this game should be projected at. Dragic has a projection for around 27 minutes. That could turn into 34, Yeah. I don't see Nunn's turning into 34 unless we're talking about like a 30-point blowout or something. And I would not play Giannis tonight. I don't think I'd play anybody, to be honest with you, on Milwaukee. My favorite would probably be Drew. I think it actually would be Drew. I guess Drew is the one I would consider playing along with DiVincenzo. I guess wow, over here, Brook Lopez is so cheap. It's been working within the Lopez thing, by the way. We thought this was sort of going to be the Lopez is not going to play as much. Maybe PJ Tucker plays more in this series. Lopez has played pretty good, but I don't think I'm going to touch him.
This is kind of like what my board looks like right now on DraftKings a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let me put up the one from the site, make it even better. Hold on, I'll put it up over here. I'll put it right over there. And what I found is that, and I don't know, I've had a lot of success in it. I have been playing these kind of middling lineups and not worrying too much, just realizing that playing some of these big studs just makes your lineups really tough to create, because you don't have those 3K things in here. So like Butler is going to rate to be my top play, and then like Jokic and Giannis, I do like them, but I just don't think I'm going to be playing them. I think that the highest I'm going to spend is going to be Lillard.
Okay.
If I play it, if you even go that high, I don't know. We're going to be playing Jokic or Giannis. I was fiddling around with building before, and that's why I mentioned Kendrick Nunn. Just
I think I'm going to have to play. Aren't you going to have to play either someone like that or Crowder or, like you said, Brooke Lopez, Monty Morris. You're going to have to choose some of these guys. That's the only reason I bring it up.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's go game by game just to do it. If you don't mind, you good with that?
Yeah, I don't care.
So Milwaukee is basically just Drew Holiday and DiVincenzo for me. And again, neither of them a priority, but both I like, and even Middleton is fine. I'm skipping Giannis personally. Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Dragic are my favorite plays from Miami. And the Dwayne Dedmon thing was a fluky thing the way that it happened, but they might go back to it just because of it. He's probably not going to put up 32 fantasy points again, but I'm not going to do it, but I just think that people are going to. So I'll just say that I'm off of that one. Duncan Robinson and Dragic. Actually, I should include Robinson in here. The problem is he just has to shoot lights out, which he can do. But even when he shot lights out in game one, he only put up 30 fantasy points in overtime. So it's like, okay, that's a little scary. You know what I mean? In terms of DFS. But I do think Bam and Jimmy are the priorities. Dragic being, I think Dragic is right there with these guys. Like I assume this game will be close. I don't think that the Heat are necessarily going to win the series or anything, but I don't think they're getting smoked at home after what happened the other day. I also think Trevor Ariza is going to play more minutes than he's being projected for. It probably they have his median they have him at 28 minutes. He's going to play 36 if the game's close. If what they've done so far is any indication. And the first game he played 38 minutes. I guess he'll play 34 then. But that I would imagine it would be exactly the same as that game.
Yeah, I like Butler. I like Butler and Bam on the Miami side. I have to keep Dragic in the mix just because you're just going to need to play guys.
Right.
He does rate to be my best Miami value. But I kind of would like to play both Butler and Bam if I could do it. Not if I could do it. If that's not the worst idea in the world, I think that's okay, right? To play them together.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I like those two guys, and then what's going to happen? I'm not going to end up with any studs. I'm just not going to end up with Giannis. I'm probably not even going to have a lower, really, the way this is going to go, because there is someone I really want to play out of that Phoenix game, that Laker game, whatever you want to call it. So I'm with you. Butler, Bam, but yeah, Bam will definitely be the lower end of those two. That's for sure. And on the other side, I'm probably not going to play anybody. I mean, one of the truth.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. Let's jump over to Phoenix because I do think this game is interesting with these prices. So I think that if that was me, I think you have to play one of LeBron or AD tonight. That's my personal take. I think it's very, very unlikely that one of them doesn't score like 60 fantasy points or somewhere in that range. And I think that AD completely took over in the last game and should be able to do that. And hopefully they'll keep feeding it back and LeBron will keep pushing him to do that. So I guess I would give Anthony Davis, it's really close between the two of them because if it gets really close down the stretch and everything, it's going to be LeBron time. Maybe LeBron gets a tiny bit of an edge. Maybe it's really, you know what? It's so close between the two of them right now. I think LeBron, I always take LeBron in those situations, but AD did just smash this team. He looks more capable of doing that right now than LeBron does. Although LeBron, it's not that hard for him to put up a triple-double and get 60. So I'm just struggling with those two guys. Schroeder was also really good in the last game. I ended up using him as my point guard on FanDuel because we only had a 2-game slate, and he paid off, but I don't think I'll be going back to him today. And for my Lakers, that's pretty much the only guys taking a shot on one of these other, whether it be Drummond or, it wouldn't be Drummond for me. I think the play would be for me Gasol. They are better with him on the court, as I've said a million times. If they start closing with Drummond and things like that, they're going to be in trouble. Well, Gasol played really well. Really well for team, not for fantasy wise, but he's 3,200. And I think that you're going to see minutes trickle more towards him away from Drummond, even though Drummond played well in the last game statistically. Drummond, they're just a much worse team with Drummond on the court.
Yeah, I don't, to be somewhat consistent. I'll play around with it, but I just don't know if I'm gonna like my my lineups with playing. See, this is the interesting thing you have to think through, right? In like this decision, a lot of decisions. Like what I was gonna say is, boy, I don't know if I'm gonna like my lineups if I pay 9,800 for, say, LeBron. But maybe you should look at it the other way. You're not going to like your lineups if you don't play the 9,800 LeBron. You know what I mean? Like it's so maybe you have to figure out a way to get those 4K guys and eat and just kind of live with it rather than. And again, I'm not saying this is right, but this is the way, different ways to think about it. Like you assume one thing where you should be assuming the other. Like you say, well, how can I play Bieber if I want to play the Padres? So I won't play Bieber. Well, maybe you should think, wait, why am I playing the Padres if I want to play Bieber? You know what I mean? So
right.
like likewise, I mean, maybe if you believe that LeBron/AD are a priority, that you have to just eat it and make the rest of the lineup work just somehow, rather than what I'm doing, which is the opposite. What I'm doing is I want to make every piece of my lineup work. And so what I'm sacrificing for that is I don't get to play, you know what I mean, like Jokic, LeBron, or whatever. And those are the trade-offs that you have to make, which is part of what makes all this fun.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so it's a tricky one. On the Phoenix side, though, so I want to find out more about this before I would go ahead and make this play, but I think Chris Paul is an incredible tournament play. I know he was banged up, but the fact that it's 1-1 now and Cameron Payne was also playing incredible the other night and kind of keeping them around in that game. I think Chris Paul is going to be overlooked, and probably for good reason, but maybe not. It depends on if he's good to go. Like, he's not going to play 32 minutes if the game stays really tight, and I expect this game to be tight. So I like Chris Paul as a long shot play. I think Devin Booker's a great play. I think he's going to be owned a lot. His minutes are just so secure. And then the top play for them is DeAndre Ayton. It's really weird that bigs against the Lakers, but you're going to have to hit 40 minutes from Ayton. You're going to get every out there. He's going to have a double-double of some sort that's going to get you to 30 already. He's 6.3K, and there's upside on that, a huge amount of upside on that, I would say. He's put up 44 and 37 the first two games. The price is just too cheap for him. So Ayton would be my preferred play. And I also like Jay Crowder or Cameron Johnson as potential value pieces. Yeah,
so I like Jay Crowder. I mean, I don't like Jay Crowder, but I have to. I think I have to play Jay Crowder. Like I think he's been shitty. But you know what? He gets minutes.
He was fine the other night.
That's what I'm. He's just. You know what I mean? Like he's fine. I mean, he's just going to be like the extent of how low I'll play, right? I like Ayton as a Phoenix guy, but I have I think I have better options at that position, so I don't know if I'm going to get there. With respect to Chris Paul, I agree with both sides of the argument. He's definitely hurt, right? And yet he's definitely, if he's playing, he's definitely going to play as much as needed. You know what I mean? Like if it's a close game, I mean, he looks really, he looks like he's just struggling out there. It looks like he's fighting it, but you know what? It's fine. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's 9K. He's 7,400 with the ball most every time. But what I would also say is that it's probably the smart thing to just play Booker, because I mean, if in fact I don't want to say use a decoy or whatever, but if Paul's in there literally just to handle the ball and it's they could really be like, this could be like a 30 shots out of Booker type of game. And if God forbid, Paul does kind of just tweak something or whatever it is, I mean, like I do think that Booker's kind of the must play on the Phoenix side. And I would start with that. The other thing I would say is that, who I don't like playing anymore? Is Michael Bridges.
Well, no, I'll tell you why. Well, this is very simple. He's guarding LeBron a lot of the time. I mean, anything he gets in this kind of a series, in this kind where they're using him literally defense, you're going to just rely on him. He's been awesome, by the way. And people don't understand that, but he's been played terrific in this series, but he doesn't need to. He's just not going to do anything offensively unless he just gets hot from three.
For me, Cam Johnson pass. For me, Cameron Payne pass. I get it. I understand the arguments for both of them. And you know what, like you said, if you're going to have to play those guys or multiple guys in that price range, yeah, I guess they're both okay. I'm going to pass on the other one on Saric and all that stuff. Just because the way I'm building, I'm probably going to have Booker in a good amount of what I'm doing. And if not, I mean, if you don't have Paul or Booker, I really think you're doing something wrong. I think like one of those guys, if not both, is just going to be relied upon for for just a lot of the offense.
Yeah, the only thing is, like you mentioned about that's where Payne comes in. So if you didn't play them, you might even consider playing Payne and sort of speculate on what happened last time with Chris Paul.
Right.
That's sort of the only other route because they didn't get there last time. And the one guy who I do feel sure to get there is pretty sure is DeAndre Ayton.
Okay.
Which feels really strange to say. But you want to talk about Denver and Portland?
Yeah, I like some Portland. I like some of these guys. So I like Nurkic. That's why I like him more than Ayton. That's why I don't think I would play. I like Nurkic. I actually like Covington at 4,400.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to play Lillard. It would be nice. Maybe I can make that work. And I kind of do want to play him actually. You know what's interesting? You watch Lillard play a lot, especially in these Denver games. He really thinks that he could win every matchup. Like there were like several possessions where he literally posted up. Campazzo, he posted up. It was a Monty Morris, whatever it is. Just give me the ball. You know what I mean? And so this is a really good. I don't know what to say matchup. This is a really good series for him. You know what I mean? Like he can get to the rim when he's wanted to. He's drawing fouls. I mean, he's playing really, really nicely. And at least for now, they're not doubling him every possession. You know, they probably will if this continues. Look, he scored. I mean, this is Lillard this is Lillard's season, man. He scored 50 fantasy points in the first half.
Did he really?
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, then he got leveled off, whatever. He had 50 fantasy points in the first half.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Can I play devil's advocate to Lillard because I think he's gonna be really popular and I think he's a great play. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you can play devil's advocate. Like I said, I might not even be able to get there.
So Aaron Gordon, when they switched to Aaron Gordon guarding him in the second half, I'm not saying Aaron Gordon's going to shut him down, but it was a move that definitely benefited them.
They'll go back to that probably, I think. Yeah.
And then I think they'll also be trapping him more because they don't want to let Lillard beat them in this series. And I'm surprised they've let him go off as much as they have because and it's sort of taken CJ out of the mix, in terms of really creating anything or doing anything with the ball. But I'm surprised they're not trying to trap Lillard around half court. I agree that Nurkic is a strong play. I have Ayton a little bit higher, but they're really close for me. But Nurkic, and you can play Nurkic and Lillard together, and this is a better game environment than the other ones. Absolutely, you could play them together. And I agree with Robert Covington. Just the minutes, it's hard to question those minutes. Carmelo Anthony would be a pivot off of Covington as a guy who could potentially get hot, but again, I don't feel like thrilled with it on this slate.
On the Denver side, do you like anything? I like Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, he's like a must for me.
Oh, beautiful! That solves my problems. That's it. Yeah, and then I was again just to jam somebody in. I had delusions of playing Austin Rivers, but the other guy is actually not bad. This guy Howard is not terrible. As a cheapo, but I don't think I need to. I don't think I'm gonna get there. I'm probably gonna end up with a decent amount of Porter.
Yeah, I would go the same way, and I love Jokic, but I just like you said, it's hard to get to all the spend ups when you got the guys just $1,500 or $1,000 cheaper who I like basically just as much.
What do you do with Aaron Gordon? I mean, you think I keep him on the floor a shitload to help with Lillard? I mean,
they're gonna keep him on the floor, yeah, for sure. It's just about what does he do, and it's it's Aaron Gordon. I don't know what else to say about him. I actually think he's totally in play. I don't know how much I really necessarily need to get to him, but I do think he's interesting. And I like your Rivers idea. Like Rivers is going to play a lot of minutes. I think at some point in certain series, and I think this is probably one of them. The problem is Monty Morris can't really guard the guards from Portland very well, but he's also.
Hey, if anybody cares, Ahmad Rosario is scratched.
Okay, that's important. Because that guy was probably really popular. Monty Morris is, his minutes trended up. He played 29 in the last game, put up 29 fantasy points. And Monty Morris, instead of Rivers, probably gives you a lot more upside, but a lot more unsecure minutes. So if you want to decide between those two guys as value, I think they're both excellent opportunities for value. I think that's pretty much it.
I think we're good, no?
Yeah, to re-highlight Butler, Bam, Dragic, Ayton, AD, LeBron, Lillard, Gasol, Porter, Robert Covington, then one of CP3 or Booker. That's it. That's my favorites.
All right. Again, sorry for the scatters, but that's what we got on this Thursday afternoon. Hopefully, I will probably attempt to go live. I don't know, Bob, you're not gonna be back, right? Or will you?
It's very unlikely that I'll be back.
I'm counting on Bobby not being. I'm gonna get in there though. It's a weird time, isn't it? Well, I will probably, just to be consistent. When's the first NBA game? 7:30.
Yeah. Let me just double check. Sorry. It is at. Wrong sheet. Where did this go? That's so weird. Oh, it's the first game is at 7:30. Sorry.
The only reason I mentioned is I think that the baseball is later. Let me just see. No, 7:05. 7:05. Okay, good. So I'm gonna go at I'm gonna be there at 6. So I will see you guys at 6. If Bobby makes it back, great. If not, I will take you guys through.
Good job, Sheets. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Good luck to everybody.
See you later, guys. See you later, Bobby. Good luck.
Good luck.